Amusement parks and roller coasters have long answered the human quest for adrenaline activities. But with the wild thrill comes a lurking shadow of fear, especially when safety is at stake. On a fateful day, 13-year-old Eamon McIntyre, a thrill-seeker and roller coaster lover, faced a life-threatening decision on the Shockwave Ride at King's Dominion. After enjoying the ride 4 consecutive times with friends, the 5th ascent brought with it a desperate need for escape. An unshakable fear settled in Eamon's mind, a warning signal that something was terribly amiss with the harness meant to keep him secure. After the ride had begun, Eamon was still unsettled about his safety restraints and began screaming that his restraints were not locked. His friends joined in the scream, only for their shouts to be drowned out by the noise of the roller coaster. However, someone heard them and alerted the operators. Eamon went with adrenaline and jumped off the Shockwave Ride at the amusement park. That is like 95-50. Was it merely the adrenaline rush from riding it 4 times in a row? Or was it a genuine alarm, a prickling at his senses warning him of impending danger? Join us as we unravel the harrowing account, sift through the questions, and uncover the chilling truth behind that heart-stopping day. Today, we tell the story of Eamon McIntyre, the 13-year-old boy who jumped out of the Shockwave Ride in King's Dominion. Going back to the lively 1920s, roller coasters emerged as a popular trend, capturing the excitement of the Jazz Age and the enthusiasm of a world moving quickly into modern times. These machines of steel and wood symbolized the risk and reward, becoming a standard part of amusement park culture that lasted through generations. The first coasters of the 1920s were simple and plain, proof of human cleverness and our basic need for excitement. The amusement industry quickly found that people were not only brave enough to ride these mechanical wonders, but were demanding more. The rush of excitement, the wind in one's face, and the heart-pounding expectation of the next twist and turn were captivating. The competition was on to make roller coasters taller, longer, and faster than the last. From the wooden giants of the early years to the smooth steel beasts that now stand out in theme parks, roller coasters have become symbols of human accomplishment and creativity. They were now made better, larger, and bigger, and everything in them screamed large-sized. However, with every inch added to the height and every second reduced from the time, worries about safety began to enter public thought with each new engineering achievement. These metal hazards, as some began to call them, started to bring fear as well as excitement. The confusion of wanting to be scared, but also wanting to feel safe, became a key conflict in roller coaster culture. The always growing demands for higher, faster, and more exciting rides did not come without a price. Time after time, stories came up of companies reducing repair costs, overlooking early signs of damage, and failing to put proper safety measures in place. Disasters happened, and lives were lost, leaving lasting wounds behind. It was a harsh reminder that what was meant to be a day of joy and fun could quickly become a nightmare. A peak of this tension was found in the story of Eamon McIntyre, a 13-year-old boy whose love for roller coasters was met with a dangerous choice on the Shockwave Ride at King's Dominion. The events of that day were a small part of the bigger discussion around roller coaster safety. Was Eamon's fear reasonable? Were the park authorities careless, or was it all a sad misunderstanding? The incident at King's Dominion brought roller coaster safety to the center of public attention. Governments began to respond, with some states, such as California, creating laws for inspection programs. The industry itself started to be more careful, always improving technology and rules to ensure that excitement never sacrificed safety. After the Shockwave incident, one cannot help but think about the delicate balance between excitement and safety, between our wish to push limits and the natural risks that come with it. The roller coaster's journey from a 1920s novelty to a modern-day engineering wonder is not just a story of invention and thrill. It's a narrative filled with stress, fear, and the ongoing attempt to find a balance between our wildest dreams and our deepest worries. The question remains as unsettling as the faint sounds of a roller coaster's scream in the quiet of night. How far are we willing to go for excitement? Is the attraction of the ride, the brief moment of terror and joy, worth the danger? The thrill of a roller coaster often beckons adventurers, young and old alike, to taste the blend of fear and excitement. On September 2, 1999, 4 boys fell under that spell in Doswell, Virginia, heading to the popular amusement park, King's Dominion. It was a cool Thursday with fall settling in, and the alluring scent of autumn-themed snacks filled the air. The leaves had begun to turn bright orange, and the gentle chill called for sweaters. Eamon McIntyre, the youngest among them at 13, was filled with enthusiasm. Accompanied by his friends, 14-year-old Mike Crutchman, 13-year-old Adam Edwards, and his brother, 14-year-old Brandon Edwards, they had planned an evening filled with fun and adventure. King's Dominion, boasting about 280 acres, 13 roller coasters, and 2 water rides, was a staple in the area, drawing millions of visitors. Eamon was a lively and curious child. His personality shined through his eyes, always twinkling with an insatiable curiosity about the world. Those who knew him well would remember his infectious smile, ability to find joy in the little things, and boundless courage. A lover of mechanics and the marvels of engineering, Eamon often dreamt of becoming an inventor or an engineer. The roller coasters were not merely rides to him, but a symbol of steel and motion. The boys made their way to King's Dominion Amusement Park, their hearts racing with anticipation. Formerly known as Paramount's King's Dominion, this amusement park was the epitome of family fun in the area, spanning a staggering 280 acres and boasting 13 roller coasters and 2 water rides. Since its grand opening in May 1975, King's Dominion had become a staple, drawing well over 48 million people. And in 1999, there was no better place for youngsters to let loose and create memories that would last a lifetime. As the boys stepped into the park, eyes wide with wonder, they knew exactly where they wanted to head first. A special ride had captured their imagination, the Shockwave. This was not just any roller coaster, it was a stand-up roller coaster, a phenomenon that had intrigued thrill seekers since its opening on the 23rd of March, 1986. Located in the Candy Apple Grove section of the park, an apple-themed area that stood as the largest section in King's Dominion, the Shockwave was an engineering marvel. Designed and built by Togo, a renowned Japanese company, the Shockwave was their third stand-up roller coaster installation. Unlike conventional roller coasters where riders sat, the Shockwave had 2 trains with 6 cars, arranged to accommodate a total of 24 riders per train, all standing. A harness system that included a shoulder harness and a waist-level guard held the riders in place while adding an entirely new dimension to the experience. The boys were no strangers to this ride, and their enthusiasm was palpable as they made their way to it. With its climb of 95 feet and the sharp vertical loop followed by a sideways spiral, the Shockwave moved at speeds of about 80 kilometers an hour. Its double restraint system, meant to keep standing riders securely in place, was a testament to its intense and unique experience. Over 13 million individuals had ridden it without serious injury, according to King's Dominion management. But as the boys excitedly queued for the ride, none of them could have foreseen what was about to unfold. The next part of their evening would transform from an adventure filled with joy and thrill to a chilling episode that would forever etch itself into their memories. What began as a day of youthful excitement and exploration took a turn that no one could have predicted, reminding us all of the delicate balance between adventure and caution. This balance teetered dangerously as they embarked on their 5th consecutive ride on the Shockwave for Eamon McIntyre and his friends Mike Crutchman, Adam Edwards, and Brandon Edwards. Initially, Eamon felt a sudden unease as they approached the ride for the 5th time, a discomfort that hadn't been there before. He chalked it up to nausea, though, as they had ridden the Shockwave 4 consecutive times, and he wasn't about to back down in front of his friends. The memory of a recent tragedy on the coaster, where a 20-year-old man lost his life, lingered in his mind but was brushed aside. A month before, a 20-year-old man named Timothy Fan was on the very same roller coaster, Shockwave. The ride was moving along, thrilling its passengers, when something went terribly wrong. Timothy somehow managed to get out of his shoulder harness. Witnesses later said he was acting recklessly, wiggling free of his safety restraint in defiance of the park's rules and common sense. The ride's double harness safety system worked properly, but Timothy's actions freed him from the constraints. Timothy was thrown from the train as the ride hit its final curve at 40 miles per hour. He struck a steel catwalk, suffering a fatal head injury. The amusement park was devastated by this loss, and Shockwave was shut down for an investigation. The county sheriff's office and park officials concluded that Timothy's death was his own fault. He had failed to follow safety instructions, they said, and the ride's safety system was found to be in proper working order. 3 days later, Shockwave was reopened. Now, fast forward to Eamon. His uneasiness grew into a realization of a tangible problem. Something was wrong with the harness. A ride operator came around for a standard check, and Eamon's concerns temporarily subsided as the adult seemed satisfied with the safety. But when the automatic locks clicked, signifying the beginning of the ride, a terrifying understanding dawned on Eamon. He was not securely fastened. Panic swept over him as he recalled the death tolls from roller coaster accidents, and he began to scream, "It's not locked! It's not locked!" His friends took up his cry, but the ride was already in motion, and their frantic calls were lost in the noise and excitement of the park. A woman walking nearby heard their shouts and ran to alert the operator, who tried to signal the chief operator to stop the ride. The operator told Eamon to stay put while he tried to signal the chief operator to stop the ride. Ignoring the operator's instructions, Eamon, terror-driven and unwilling to become a victim, ignored the instructions. In a move that defied both fear and reason, he slipped under his waist-level restraint and jumped from the car, 30 feet above the ground. The world must have held its breath as Eamon landed on a catwalk, twisting his knee. Adrenaline propelled him down the stairs, where a stunned ride operator met him. Almost immediately, the Shockwave stopped. Shaken to their core, Mike Crutchman and the Edwards brothers begged to be let off, but the operators insisted the coaster was safe, and they were forced to continue the ride. Park paramedics were called immediately, rushing to the scene to tend to the shaken and injured Eamon. At the end of the ride, one of the operators gave the boys passes for a free trip on the coaster, which they did not use. They were not detained or asked any questions. A few minutes later, the boys met up with some of their parents and recounted the incident. The parents reported it to park officials. Susan Lomax, a spokesperson for King's Dominion, mentioned that sometimes there was a perception among the guests that something might not be quite right, especially due to recent incidents. The amusement park had a thrilling ride equipped with a special system designed to ensure riders' safety. This system was intended to secure itself in place, preventing anyone from wiggling out of it once the ride was in motion. The park officials couldn't figure out how a boy named Eamon had managed to free himself from it. In the aftermath, the park officials sprang into action, their faces etched with concern and urgency. The ride was inspected thoroughly, and every harness mechanism was checked and double-checked. Shockingly, the results revealed that there was nothing wrong with the ride. Every safety lock and every restraint was in proper shape. The ride was in working order, and there was no evidence of mechanical failure or tampering. Brian Gentilini, a supervisor in the Hanover County Building Inspector's office, who had inspected the ride after a previous incident, confirmed that there was no case since the ride was in proper working order. The ride operators, including Susan Lomax, a spokeswoman for King's Dominion, insisted that Eamon's restless thoughts must have led to his perception that something was wrong. They argued that nothing was actually amiss, that Eamon had been compelled to act out of fear and anxiety, leading to unnecessary injury and stress. But not everyone agreed with this assessment. Eamon's father was outraged, his voice trembling with anger as he declared that the only safety device that worked that day was when his son jumped off the ride. He accused King's Dominion of being in denial over the entire incident. "They don't think their machine can fail. If it happened now, it could happen again," he asserted, his eyes flashing with indignation. The incident sent shockwaves beyond the immediate circle of those involved. With recent amusement park deaths still fresh in the public's memory, many began to question the safety of thrill rides. The ride's closure was announced, with the Shockwave having operated for nearly 30 years and accommodating over 22 million riders. Despite its long history and immense popularity, the roller coaster's time had come to an end. Delirium, a massive frisbee roller coaster, took its place in 2016 after the demolition started in November 2015. But the memory of that day, the fear in Eamon's eyes, the anger in his father's voice, and the stark contrast between the statements of the park officials and those who had been on the ride lingered on. People were left to question, was Eamon's perception indeed flawed? Or was there something more to the incident, something that had been overlooked or dismissed too quickly. Some sided with Eamon and his father, while others believed the park officials. Opinions were divided, and the debate continued, but one fact remained undeniable. An ordinary day at the amusement park had turned into a chilling reminder of the unexpected twists and turns that life can take. The story of Eamon's leap from the shockwave would be retold and analyzed, a haunting tale of fear and courage, trust and betrayal, perceptions and reality, and above all, a tale that prompted a reflection on safety, responsibility, and the human instinct for self-preservation. It was a story that would not be forgotten easily, leaving an indelible mark on those who heard it, and forever changing the way they looked at roller coasters and the fleeting, fragile nature of trust. Though Eamon escaped with a twisted knee, the incident's repercussions were felt far and wide. Following a thorough inspection, park officials declared the ride safe, blaming Eamon's perception and misunderstanding of the safety mechanism. They had faith in the integrity of the ride's safety precautions, and regulatory authorities supported their claim. Eamon's father, however, disagreed, reflecting the fears and doubts of many. The incident brought roller coaster safety into the spotlight, leading to questioning and reflection on the safety measures in amusement parks. While no mechanical failures were found in the ride, the incident emphasized the importance of trust and communication between riders and operators, and the delicate balance of fear and thrill that defines roller coaster rides. This harrowing tale is a reminder of how unexpected twists and turns can occur not only in roller coasters, but in life itself. If this story gripped you, or if you have thoughts about roller coaster safety, please give this video a like and share your opinions in the comments below. Your voice matters, so let's have a conversation about it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more in-depth looks at accidents and thrilling rides.